Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to this video of featuring my January favorites. There was quite a bit of stuff that I was loving for the month of January. Despite me being on a budget, I was able to pick up a couple of things that just really impressed me. There are a few things that I had picked up in December, hadn't really had a chance to use. A couple of things I might have gotten for Christmas that I finally started to use, and so there is quite a bit of eyeshadow in this, gonna be in this video. So let's go ahead and jump right into what I was loving for the month of January. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take care of all of those products that are non-eyeshadow palette, and then we'll save all the eyeshadow palettes for last. So first and foremost, I do have a couple of drugstore products, and this is not in any particular order, kind of going to be all over the place, but this is a product that I had featured on kind of like a first impressions video. And I'm actually thinking that video probably just went up, but it is, I believe it's the video in which I was testing out the products that I got for Christmas. And this happened to be one of the items that I had picked up right around that time, not necessarily a product I got for Christmas. And in that video, I really wasn't impressed, which is the bummer about first impressions, because it could be that you're just either using it the wrong way, with a wrong applicator, with a wrong like base, whatever the case may be. And so first impressions, while I do enjoy watching them, and I've put out a couple of them on my channel, I don't do a whole lot of them because things can change, your opinion can change. Well, there were a couple of things about this foundation. One is I had the wrong shade. I had purchased True Buff, and that one was way too yellow. I'm like, was it True Buff? It was True Buff. So I exchanged it for 420, which is True Beige, and it made the world of difference. So that's one. Two is I had been using it, applying it with the Sonia Kashuk Beauty Blender or Beauty Sponge, and it was almost like that just wasn't a right fit for this product. I started using this with a brush, had a much different experience, and most recently have used it with the just regular Beauty Blender, and also very much loving it. And so loving it so much that I have been using this pretty much on an everyday basis, which for me, drugstore products, it's not that I don't want to try them out or use them, it's just that I more often than not don't have good experiences because I can't find my right shade. It's just not the consistency I like. It just on me, it doesn't work well with my skin. So I am really happy to be able to say that I love this foundation. It's actually what I'm wearing today, and gives me a beautiful, just a very, so it's just what it says, fresh wear. Now as far as the 24-hour, I don't know about that, but as far as it being fresh wear, I absolutely can stand behind that. It just looks so good when I apply my powder over top. It works perfectly, and I'm just really happy with this. So if you are in my shade range, I am a light medium neutral. This is shade 420 True Beige, and I like it very much. I could probably stand to go a hair deeper, but I didn't want to keep on returning and opening. I don't like doing that. So all I've done is just kind of warm it up with just a teeny bit of bronzer. I'm wearing Hourglass bronzer today, and I love it. So this was pretty close of a match, and I would highly recommend this foundation. And if you are anywhere near my skin tone, then this is a great shade. Moving on, this is something everybody and their friends, moms, dogs, everybody has loved. And it's the Fenty Beauty Loose Setting Powder. It's the Pro Filter Setting Powder. It's called Instant Retouch Setting Powder. I got mine originally in the shade Banana. I had not even opened it up, and I noticed when I got home that it was way too yellow compared to my other powders. So I went back and I picked up Butter. And while I do feel it does lighten my foundation just a hint, I think the Banana for my skin tone would have been too much or too yellow. So it's a good thing that I swapped it out. This thing, if you know me, if you've been with my channel for a while, you know I am not a powder. I have not been a powder type of girl. I don't usually set my concealer, my makeup. I just put on my foundation and concealer and I am good to go. Well, once I started using the Huda powder, the Easy Bake powder, I am in the shade Pound Cake for reference. I just developed this love for setting powder because that one has such a beautiful effect on my skin. It gives me such a seamless look. It's so smooth so that when I apply my blush, my bronzer, my highlight, it's such a smooth canvas, and it just was a game changer for me for powder. And so I did pick this one up and I love it just as much as the Huda. And you know, that one set high standards for me, but I had the high standards for this one as well because it's Fenty, and pretty much every product that she releases I have loved. Now, I love the concealer as well. I did not include it in today's because I thought it was pretty on par with some of the concealers I really enjoy. It wasn't anything beyond that. So I'm kind of reserving for that next amazing concealer that blows my mind. I loved it, but I didn't include it in today's favorites for that reason. But the powder, it really did it just met and exceeded my expectations. It is so good. It gives me the same beautiful results as the Huda, and I love it. I also love that it comes with like a little, if you purchase this, don't throw out the box without taking out the little cover. There's a little plastic cover that allows you to pull off the top, and it's got like the FB on it, and it fits right into the FB that is in the, I don't want to call it a sifter, but just because if you don't put that cover on it, you'll have powder everywhere, just like this. So because you're gonna have that loose powder just sitting in that little upper portion, and that helps kind of, if you're traveling, it helps keep it a little bit more sanitary and clean. But this is so good, and I am highly interested in the, I forget what it's called, but there is a brightening powder in this same shade range. Now, what I also love about this Fenty powder is that depending on your shade range, your shade range for the foundation, it will pretty much tell you on the website what powder you need. So for example, butter, it said was for shades 100 to 190. I'm 190. And then shades 200 to 2 whatever is banana and such and such. And that way you know, you don't have to play that guessing game, but this one is amazing and I love it. So next up is also drugstore product, and this one I had purchased because I was really intrigued after Jaclyn Hill mentioned it on her video, and I just really wanted to try it out. It just hadn't worked out for me to pick it up because drugstore products, people just love to break them open, test them, even though they're not testers, and what a waste of products. But I wasn't able to find one that was in stock that was still brand new. And so over the past month, I was able to find Baddest Beige by Maybelline. So it's a lipstick for those of you who don't know. And it is such an amazing neutral shade. It is a little bit more slippery in texture than I would like because that means that you have to apply it a little bit more frequently, but the color is so nice that I actually just put it over top of a liquid lipstick and it stays put for a very long time, and it's so moisturizing. So if you are in the market for a neutral type of shade, and I guess it leans kind of peachy, to look at it, but it really is pretty, and I can see this suiting quite a few skin tones, and I think this was like $5.97, so this was definitely a love for January. Now let's move on to glosses. So if you watched my Staying on a Budget While Buying Luxury Makeup video, then you know I featured this in that video, and I have not been able to get enough of these glosses. They're probably the best glosses that I have ever tried, and they are the Pat McGrath, what are they called exactly? This is called the Mini Lust Gloss set, and I guess that is what they are called. But this was the perfect way for me to try them out. I don't see myself running out of these anytime soon. This little set was $25, and they've got 2 different sets of 3. So they've got another set that has like the deeper rose mauve shades that really is also a great deal. I started with this one. I loved them so much that I plan to also pick up the other one down the road. But these are such a great consistency that I feel like the wet look that you get with the gloss, it stays on for a while. You know how most glosses you put it on and then after a little while it's just gone, you're having to reapply. This one stays on for quite some time. I also love that the detail in these little minis is just as good as the detail in the full size, which is nice. So you've got like the little emblems, the little stamps on the handles or whatever this is called, and I love that. They didn't make it chintzy, they didn't make it look cheap, and these glosses, like I said, are so good. And I have mainly enjoyed using them on their own because they just shine and pop so nicely that if I put them over top of something else, then they kind of get lost. but on their own, they are so good. So I'm going to give you the swatches real quick. This one comes with, this particular set, comes with Dare to Bear, Divine Rose, and Pale Fire Nectar. And Pale Fire Nectar is the reason I wanted this set, because I had been eyeing that full size and had never picked it up because I didn't want to pay $28 for a gloss. So this was actually just perfect as far as letting me try it out and see if I like it, which again, I love it. And these are the shades right there. Okay, yeah, right here. And look at the just the payoff and the gloss factor. And I am one that I'm just not big on glosses because I like pigment in my glosses. I'm not really big on just a bunch of sheer glosses. I like pigment, and so that's why I love the Anastasia glosses. This is maybe not as pigmented as the Anastasia glosses, but quite a bit of pigment with the shine. So pretty. I have loved those and have put them to quite a bit of use for the month of January, which is good. That's what they're there for. So the next couple of items that are not eyeshadow palettes I did receive for Christmas, and they were part of the Kylie holiday collection. Now, if you have been with my channel for a while, you know that I really, really do enjoy Kylie products. I mean, I would dare say that she is, like, her brand is one of my top favorite brands, just because there is usually not disappointment when I order her collections. And what I typically do is order her limited edition, or products from her limited edition collections. A lot of times when she'll do like the standard releases like concealer or whatever, I kind of skip on those. But usually for her limited edition releases, I like to pick stuff up. Her highlighters and eyeshadows are some of my absolute all-time favorites, but especially the highlighters. She makes a very intense glowy highlight, and you know me, I like very intense. I don't like anything subtle. So I have Snow Angel and Winter Kissed. One is a blush and one is a highlight. So here is Snow Angel, and this is what it looks like. Now, I am not wearing this today, ironically. I'm wearing something else. But this I have been wearing for days and days and days, like one day after the other, because when I go to pick my highlight, it's just nothing compares to this one lately because I love it so much. It's very, very glowy, very sparkly, very intense. But like I said, that is what I know her highlights to be, and I love it. So this is that shade right there. Very, very strong sheen to that highlight. And that's what that one looks like right there. And this is probably one of my favorite highlights of all time. It is that good. And then Winter Kissed is very, very popular. I know a lot of people are still trying to get their hands on it, but just the tone on my skin tone really, really looks good. It's just very complimentary, and it's very, how can I put it? It's kind of that perfect between not being too pigmented, where if you go in with a super heavy hand, you're going to look like a clown, but it's also not pigmented, barely pigmented to where you have to go in 20 times to build it up. It's like I can add one layer and be good, or if I want to go a little bit stronger, add a little bit more, and it is so pretty. It adds such a pretty winter flush. You know, like when you go outside and it's nice and cold, you come back in, you've got that rosy flush to your cheeks. This is just really, really good for that. So it is a lighter pink, but like I said, on my skin tone, I am a light medium neutral, and this just, I'm gonna add a little bit more because it's a very, to swatch it, it looks very baby pink. To put it on the skin looks very, very good. So it doesn't look as light when I put it on as a blush, but this has been such a favorite. So those two, just some of my favorites. Okay, lastly, let's go through eye products. Now I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly so that we're not making this all about 30 minutes of eyeshadows. So two of these things I had featured in my video, kind of featuring some of the new products for spring. And that is the Huda Matte and Metal Melted Shadows. I have only one, and it's in the shade Hot Sauce and Cherry Soda. I have gotten so much use out of this because it's so quick and easy. And then the other item that I just have been loving so much is the Tarte Seaglass Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade Life's a Beach. And it is the turquoise shade with like a gold shift that is so, so pretty. So let me bring you up close to this. This is so, so pretty that I really do want to pick up a couple of others. And I think these are limited edition. So this was the one I wanted the most, and I was very happy that it's the one I picked up. But it has a very, very strong gold sheen that makes it quite like duochrome, and you know, I hope that's the term, because I feel like everybody, you know, someone will say that and then someone else will get mad that it's, no, that's not the term. This is, like I said, so easy, so quick. The metal side is very, very metallic. So if you like that chrome type of look, then this is right up your alley. There are a couple others that I do want to pick up. However, I had picked this one up to make sure that I was even going to like them so that I wouldn't buy 2 or 3 of them and then be disappointed. So I got the one that really seemed like it would be the most pigmented, but I do want to pick up a couple others now that I know I love this. And like I said, it's so quick and easy. There is the matte and there is the metal. There is a little bit of a technique, so if you have not seen my video yet featuring those products, then check that out, because I just kind of take you through the process of using that so that you get the best application. In essence, all you do is you dot it in your crease, and you got to work quickly, so you can't dot it on both eyes. You got to work one at a time. So you dot it on your crease and then blend it in, and it looks so good. You can blend it out to where it fades really, really pretty, and then you can add more intensity to the outer portion of your lid. Don't blend it as much so that it stays like a deeper shade, and there you've got pretty much 2 colors for the price of one, and then you just put the metal portion all over on your lid, and it's so good. So I really do love these. They are a little pricey. They're about $24, but I guess because one, you pay for convenience, 2, you're getting couple of different shadows that you can use on the go. So next up, we have got the Natasha Denona Mini Nude Palette. This thing has been so good, and I feel like I got so many compliments in my video of this palette, as well as the other video of buying luxury brand makeup on a budget, because this is also what I was wearing. And this is probably one of my very favorite Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes, which blows my mind because I've never really been a fan of her minis. I own the larger ones, and so that has pretty much been good for me. The Star palette I didn't need because the minis were just dupes of the larger ones. The mini Lila palette, I'm like, I don't need very similar shades to the big one I already have and hardly use. So I really did not intend to pick this one up, but once I swatched it in store, I kind of figured I needed to have it, and for $25 it was pretty affordable. So I have been using the heck out of this palette, and I love it. They are so metallic, they're so pigmented, which is surprising to me for a mini palette. Again, kind of like with the Pat McGrath, she kept the quality in this while making it still a mini. There is a duochrome shade in here that is my absolute favorite. It like has a shift of green. It is so pretty. It's like a bronze green type shade, and it is so good. These go on so smoothly. They're some of the butteriest, softest shades I have ever come across, which I say that from time to time, and it's like, okay, seems like all your shades are buttery shades. These are just beyond soft, and if you go in with too firm of a finger, you'll actually push down on the product, or you'll have a dip in the product, but that's what those look like right there. Just one swatch. I didn't have to rub, I didn't have to do any of that, and they are very pigmented. So this was an absolute love. If anything out of this favorites kind of speaks to you and you say, maybe I need to pick that up, it should be this one, because it is probably my most favorite product this month. Next up, another product I really was not planning on picking up. I don't know. I say in my videos of do I really need it, I say I'm not going to pick these up and I'm going to pick these up, and I have found for the last couple of videos that I have actually flip-flopped, and the things I have said I'm going to pick up, I haven't yet. I'm kind of waiting to see reviews. The things I said I absolutely was not going to pick up, like the Natasha Denona, what I'm about to show you, I ended up picking up, which makes no sense. So this next palette, I still have it in the box because for whatever reason, when things are semi-new, I like to keep them in the box for a little while. I don't know. But these are the Urban Decay On the Run palettes. Now, I was not going to pick these up for the same reason as the Natasha Denona. I don't need another mini. I have the Born to Run palette, love it, but I had assumed these were going to be pretty similar to the big one, just in smaller fashion, smaller form. And I was like, I don't need them. But again, these are $25, and when I saw that they kept getting 5-star reviews both on Ulta and Sephora's website, I figured I probably needed to go check them out. So I went to my local Sephora and I swatched them, and they swatched so beautifully. I really did not anticipate them swatching that way. So what I ended up doing was I ended up buying 2 of them through Ulta with my points, so I didn't pay anything. And then I bought the turquoise one, or the green one, at Sephora because I had a gift card. So it was kind of nice because I picked them all up without having to pay a cent. And these are so good. This particular one is in the palette Shortcut. So it is the red one. You know I'm all about the reds, the berries. They just make my eye color pop. And what I have found amongst the three is that there are a few mattes, the neutrals you would need to be able to create the look, the basics. And then there's like a kind of satiny, deeper shade. And then each one has this really mind-blowing, beautiful, metallic, sparkly shade. And for this particular palette, it's called Zone. And it's like a reddish orange shade that is just really, really pretty. These go on so well. They blend so good. Let me give you a few different shades. Let's see. This is in the shade Gash, and this is in the shade After Hours. So Gash and After Hours, and just very, very easy to work with and so affordable. Again, I think they're just, brands are just stepping up their game in the sense of coming out with mini versions of things because they know that they're catering to a group of people who are on a budget and aren't looking to spend all this money on a large palette. So this gives you the choice of, okay, do I want the green? Do I want the red? Do I want the purple? And that way there's something for everybody at an amazing price point. So I loved this. This was such a pleasant surprise, and I am glad I picked these up. So next up, I have two Colourpop eyeshadow palettes that just I love so much. I feel like every time they come out with one, I'm like, oh, I love this more than the last one. So I picked them both up in December and really didn't start getting use out of them until this month. So again, I still have them in their boxes. So let me take them out so that I don't take up all that much of time. But one of them is the Salvaje palette by Becky G, and the other one is Through My Eyes by Karen of iluvsarahii. So these two palettes are just, the shades are so pigmented, so easy to work with, and that's pretty much what I have found with Colourpop. That's just consistent from palette to palette, is that their shades are just so easy to work with, so blendable, very, very pigmented, and I think what blows my mind each and every time is the price point. This one I think was $16. This one was $22 or $23, I can't remember. But for the price point, like I can buy 2 or 3 Colourpop palettes for the price of one higher end palette and get a lot of the same quality, quite frankly. So this is the Becky G palette. It's just so good. I think what gets me every time with Colourpop is they'll put like a pop of teal or something that is always so good. In this particular palette, it is a matte. But the metallics, again, Colourpop just does great shadows, great metallics. That's what I love about them more than anything, are their metallic shades. And I like very much, the first Colourpop palette that I had purchased was the Dream Street palette by Kathleen Lights. And I was like, oh, these pan sizes are so small. But when you really think about it, you're never even going to go through a full pan size of these if you're a makeup collector. In addition, you're paying a fraction of the cost. So I would rather have a ton of palettes with this size pan that cost significantly less. But for example, here are 3 of these shades. And I love the packaging. It looks very, very detailed. It looks a lot more expensive than what it was. It was $16. So let's try to give swatches. Now, I don't find that their mattes ever really swatch amazingly, but they just perform so well on the eye. And it's these 3 right here. And they just perform so good. And again, when you just have that satisfaction of having like a really great deal when you buy something that wasn't a ton of money, it's just kind of nice. Here is the iluvsarahii palette. Now I've only used this about 3 times, so I have not used all of them because I've kind of I used it 1 week and I waited and I used it another. I've been trying to use a whole lot of stuff. Every single time I've used this, I have loved it. So I love that there are like some different types of shades, because with Colourpop sometimes you can get like similarity from palette to palette to where, and I've heard that where people say, well, they all start looking the same. I have heard that. I can see that. And so it is nice when you have a little bit of variety from palette to palette. But here's 3 of the shades from this palette, and they just perform so, so good. And I'm going to tell you, that this shade right here is my favorite out of the palette. It is almost like, it's not coming across, but it's almost like a neon coral, and it's not like nothing I have in my collection. I don't have one shade like that, and I love it for that shade and for a bunch of others, but that is my favorite one out of the whole palette. So those two were absolutely a win for me. Just have been loving them. And this one, because I've used it only about 3 times, I'm taking this into February with me. I think I'm going to get a lot of good Valentine's looks with this, especially because of that neon shade. Right now, neon is in. So if you can use like neon corals, neon pinks, neon berries for your looks for Valentine's Day, then you have got it made. Okay, lastly, this is going to seem kind of weird to you guys that I'm including this in this favorites. I think a lot of people loved this, a lot of people hated it, and it's just kind of your preference. I have, and here's what's going to blow your mind, that I'm featuring it on my loves for January, because I have very, very mixed feelings about this palette. I'm not going to go into all the, I think there was controversy around this. I never saw it happen. I never kept up with it. I a lot of times don't know what's going on social media because I don't follow a lot of people. A lot of times because it's just best to stay out of the drama. But I did end up hearing about this, and so I'm not sure what happened there. But anyways, so as far as the palette itself, the mattes I'm not a fan of. I find them to be kind of dry and chalky and stiff. However, I love this for the glitters because I have found that it's so convenient to have glitter in pan form because it's loose glitter, but it's all packed in there. So whatever I need, I just have to tap with my finger and go onto my lid, and easy peasy. I don't have to deal with like a little container full of loose glitter that gets everywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, I will do it that way if I have to because I love putting glitter on my eyelids, but it's just been so nice having it just all in one compact place. And like I said, the rest of the shadows kind of leave something to be desired, at least for me. I have not had the best experience with all of the other shadows. I think Too Faced has put out just some really great stuff throughout the year 2018. This, as a whole, wasn't really one of those things that I preferred. However, the glitters I love. Just so easy, like I said. You don't have to go in with a heavy hand to get a whole lot. I got this out of just rubbing 1, 2. And that's all the glitter that came off. And it's kind of nice because this is the one that I swatched, and there's no dust particles. There's no glitter particles flying all over the place. So this has been so convenient. It's been great when I've wanted to do like a sparkly kind of glam look without having to pull out a bunch of stuff. As far as the glitter goes, it's kind of in a one-stop shop. Now, I have also used it combined with like the mattes and things, and like I said, I would rather pair it with another palette for what other shades I need and not necessarily have to use those. But for the glitters, this was so worth it for me. Let's see, where are we gonna put this? Let's put it right here by the glosses. And this is just gonna look like your average glitter. I'm not really gonna be able to get a whole lot out, but that's what it looks like right there. I'm not wearing obviously any glitter glue or anything on my hand, but again, it is so easy to just grab glitter from the palette, not having to use like my MAC glitters or anything like that. It's all in a one-stop shop. I'm done, I close it, I can put it away. So that has been a favorite for the month of January for that reason. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of this January favorites. I feel like there was a lot to go through, especially eyeshadow palettes, but I do hope that you found this enjoyable and helpful. If you are new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on this journey with me as part of this YouTube family. If you don't mind clicking that thumbs up button, that like button, just so that tells me that you do enjoy these videos, and it also helps me out, helps my channel, so that would be appreciated as well. Before I let you go, I want to give you a snippet from my Bible devotional, and it is a quote from John Newton, and it says, "Christ has taken our nature into heaven to represent us, and has left us on earth with his nature to represent him." It's just my encouragement to you to be a light wherever you go. Be that light that just tells people that Jesus loves them, that there's hope, and there's a lot of hopeless people in the world, and you never know whose life, whose day you can change with just that one act of kindness, with just showing them that love, just being that light and representing Jesus. All right, guys, thank you so much again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.